Hi yogis and yoginis, welcome to our second lesson for chair yoga that relates to the moon. We've talked about how in the month of October we've started with a full moon and we're ending with a full moon. So all of the poses that we do here in this practice are either going to be moon themed or they're preparing us for those moon themed poses. So I hope that you'll enjoy the practice. Let's go ahead and get started. As always, we want to sit up nice and tall on the chair, and I like to sit forward on the seat so that we're creating these wonderful 90-degree angles with the body. So from our crown down to the lap and out to the knees, that's our first 90-degree angle. And then under the legs, from your hips down to the back of the knee, all the way down to the ground, that's another one. And from the front of your shins down to the feet, that's our third 90-degree angle. So sitting up nice and tall. Let's start by rolling our shoulders back and down. And let's begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, as long as those passageways are clear for us. And if they're not clear for you today, let's just breathe as comfortably as we can. And when our shoulders feel good and relaxed, we'll relax them back and down one last time. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And maybe tonight we'll connect the index finger to the thumb and let the other three fingers just relax, forming the hands in Jnana Mudra, which is a special hand gesture that represents consciousness and also represents our connection to everyone else underneath the moon, whether that's the people, the creatures, or even just the air, the wind, the rays of the sun, and the beams of the moon. And even as we hear the sound of insects around us singing their nighttime melodies, and we hear the buzz of cars traveling in the distance, we choose to bring our focus to our healthy breath, bringing our focus to this present moment, right here, right now. And as we hear the sound of our healthy breathing, we're reminded to breathe throughout each and every pose, especially when the poses are challenging for us. Let's keep breathing rather than holding our breath. We make a promise to ourselves today to feel each pose to the best of our own abilities while listening to the body at all times, easing up whenever needed and giving ourselves more of a challenge whenever wanted. And maybe today we'll practice our equal ratio breathing, where the length of our inhale is equally as long as the length of our exhale. So as we practice this, I'll count aloud for us, and then I'll slowly start to stop counting and then stop speaking. And when I'm stopping, you just keep on going, counting for yourself in your mind. So let's give it a try. Let's inhale, 2, 3, 4, and exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling. 2, 3, 4. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. When we're ready, let's slowly open our eyes. Just relax the hands now. We're going to start with some gentle neck movements, just trying to lubricate that part of the spine. Let's inhale tall, and on the exhale, turning our head to look over one shoulder. Let's inhale and lift the head on a slight diagonal as a bird looks out of its nest. And on the exhale, we lower the chin down by the chest, drawing a semicircle. And on the inhale, we're lifting to look out of another bird's nest. Exhaling, drawing that circle downward. Inhaling as we lift. Exhaling down. Inhaling with a gentle lift. One more time in each direction. And then we'll slowly bring the head back to the center. Let's bring both hands together at heart center. And on the inhale, let's reach one long arm up to the sky as the other arm presses downward. And on the exhale, come back to the heart. Inhale, stretch out in the other direction. Exhaling back to the heart. And we notice that when we reach those arms up, the chest automatically opens up for us. Our posture seems to lengthen up to its longest length. We're also starting to lubricate the shoulder joints here, which is always beneficial for them. Remember, as we get older, we start to have a decrease in the amount of natural lubricating fluids in the body. They're called synovial fluids. And I know that it seems like we should be sad about that, but instead, let's turn that around. And let's just promise ourselves we're going to try to move the body as much as we can every day so that we can use those fluids we do have to lubricate all of the joints. One more time, reaching out. Bring those hands back to heart center and lower the arms down by our side, rolling the shoulders back. Now let's reach on back for, for chest expansion, and then round with a tree hug. Inhale, open up the chest. Feel that little arch in the back. And on the exhale, we round. So this is our chest expansion with a tree hug on the other side. And this is a wonderful way to move your spine forward and backward, and in effect, lubricating the spine with those fluids that we have in the body. So this is the first of 3 kinds of movements we should do for the spine every day. So moving it forward and backward is one way. Now let's wrap the arms around that tree trunk one more time, and then bring the arms all the way down. Here's the next way we should move our spine every day, in a side-to-side motion. So let's inhale, the left arm up, reach as high as you can, and then a very gentle side bend. Inhale, lift up back to the center. Exhale that arm down. Let's inhale the right arm up, reach high. Exhale with a little bend. Inhale as we lift, and exhale all the way down. Now this is the beginning of our practice, so our side bend does not have to be a very deep bend. We're just getting warmed up here. Inhaling as we lift, exhale with a little bend. One more time. So that's the second way we should move our spine on a daily basis, in a side-to-side movement. Now the third way is to twist through the spine. So let's inhale the left arm to shoulder height, watching the tips of our fingers as we gently twist through the trunk. Inhaling back to the center and exhaling down. Other side, let's lift the right arm up. Gently, gently twist on the exhale. Inhaling back to the center and exhaling down. So even if you only have time for a little bit of yoga in your day, try to use those 3 kind of movements for your spine, because that's the way to keep the spine healthy, the muscles nice and flexible, and also to hydrate the spine. Inhaling with a lateral raise to a gentle twist. One more time on each side. The way back. Now let's extend one long leg in front of us and reach up with the opposite arm, keeping the abdominals engaged. Then exhale down. Now let's try it on the other side. One long leg and the opposite arm stretching out, exhaling down. Spinal balance flow. Now later on in this practice, we'll do the same movement again, but from a standing position. And if you'd rather do it seated, this is what you're going to come back to. One more time on each side, spinal balance flow. Now let's find both feet flat on the ground, hips distance apart. So remember, that's about 2 fists side by side, wedged between the knees. Now let's inhale. Well, first let's start down here. Let's reach those arms down on the diagonal. We're going to start with airplane flow here. Let's inhale, nice and tall through the spine here and up through the crown of our head. And on the exhale, hinge forward with your jet wings behind you, palms down. And on the inhale, lift up with strong abdominals, raising the arms in front of us. Exhaling down into airplane. Inhaling as we rise up. Exhaling to airplane. Inhaling and lift, lift, lift. Two more of these airplane flows. Now, let's take those arms all the way out to the side, palms up. Inhale the arms overhead, and let's swan dive down to a forward fold. On the inhale, let's lift the back to a 45-degree angle for monkey. And on the exhale, back down to forward fold. Rise tall on the inhale, and on the exhale, swan diving down. Lifting to monkey, exhaling to forward fold, rising tall as we inhale. Swan diving down. Starting to build a little heat here in our practice. And building heat is not a bad thing. That leads to some good, stretchy, flexible muscles. And that's exactly what we're looking for during our practice. Let's use 3 more of these seated sun salutations. Last time through. Now, let's bring the arms down to shoulder height, both palms up. Now turn the right palm down and look out to your left palm, and let's inhale. On the exhale, turn them over. Inhaling and exhaling. Shoulder spirals. One more time on each side. Now relax those arms down. Let's move forward on the chair and take the feet out wide here. The toes and the knees pointing in the same direction. Let's inhale, both arms up overhead. And on the exhale, just choose one direction to exhale down and reach for the ground. On the inhale, rise up to follow the sun, making a big circle pattern here for rotating sunflower flow. One more time in this direction. Now when we get to the top, let's reverse. Exhale, reach down in front of your feet. Inhale as you rise. Last time around, rotating sunflowers. Now bring those arms all the way down, duck walk the feet in to hips distance apart. Now let's go ahead and take a drink if you have one, and when you're ready, there's an option of standing on the vacant part of your mat. Now if you'd rather stay seated for these next poses, just keep that wide stance with your feet. Okay, so we're going to come into our wide stance here. Let's inhale both arms up overhead, and on the exhale, bring your elbows in toward the ribs. Inhaling, reach out. Exhale, coming back in. Moonflower flow has a nice open chest, and we're moving up and down with a nice neutral spine. So we're trying not to lean forward or back during the movement. Just a nice up and down movement here. One more moonflower. Now let's hinge forward from the hips, gathering like you're picking up a big pumpkin. Inhale and rise up. Exhaling as we hinge. Inhaling and rising. Exhale, hinging forward to gather. Inhale and rise up. One more time, hinging forward. Now let's open up to sun pose. Bend through the knees, arms out long, palms up, overhead arms. So we exhale as we reach out. We inhale, bringing arms overhead. This is our sun pose, S-U-N. One more time, opening up to sun pose. Now let's bring those arms all the way back down, and let's take the feet here to hips distance apart. Now I am going to pause for just a moment. I'll stop the video. I'm going to turn on some exterior lights here so that I don't get lost as it gets a little bit darker and darker coming into these early autumn nights. So here's a good time to take a drink if you have one, and I'll be right back with you. All right, hi everybody, welcome back. So I was outside for the first part of our class, and then it was just getting too dark, and I didn't have the illumination outside that I was hoping for. So we brought the yoga back inside for the rest of our practice. No worries, we just have to adjust when those things happen. So now, if we are standing up nice and tall, we're going to do what we call half moon pose. It's both arms up overhead. So let's inhale, both arms up. Lace all of your fingers except the pointer finger and the thumb, and then let's take a side bend over to one side. Keeping the head in line with the spine, breathing. It looks like Maisie the yoga cat's coming in. She's ready for some yoga too. Two more breaths. Now when we lift, we want to lift with the trunk. Inhale, lift, 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 lift. And on the exhale, let's come right over to the other side for half moon. And you'll notice how it looks like we're making a crescent moon shape with the body here. Now, if this is more than you want as far as the demand on your back, you can always take one arm down, and that can make things feel a little more comfortable. Otherwise, we'll have those two arms overhead for half moon. Now, when you're ready, let's come all the way back upright. Relax those arms and roll the shoulders back and down. And we'll bring both hands together at heart center, preparing for a standing twist. We inhale, engaging the abdominal muscles, nice and tall. And on the exhale, gently, gently turning toward one side of the mat. Always breathing during our twists rather than holding the breath. Now gently, gently, we unwind and we come back to the center. Let's try it on the other side. Inhaling and engaging the abdominals, nice and tall. Exhaling, turn, turn, turn toward the other side of the room or the mat. Now gently, gently, we unwind back to the center and relax those arms. Now here's the opportunity for that standing version of standing spinal twist. So you're going to turn to face your chair. Now remember, if you'd rather do it seated, you know how to do it from earlier on. So when you're ready, let's inhale the arms overhead, swan dive with a little bend in the knees, and place both hands on your chair cushion. Now, when you're ready, on the next inhale, let's take the left arm forward and extend the right leg long behind us. And on the exhale, come back to your seat cushion. Other side, let's inhale, reach out, always with one arm and the opposite leg, and then exhale back. One more time, reaching out long and then coming all the way back. Let's bend the knees a little, lift yourself up with overhead arms, and bring those arms all the way back down. Now let's turn our seat cushion away from us. We're going to do our warrior poses behind the chair. So standing tall behind the chair, let's take our left foot and step as far back as you can step with your whole left foot connected to the ground. Looking straight ahead, let's engage the abdominal muscles. You can hold on to the chair if you'd like. You never have to let go if you don't want to. Now, I'm going to put one hand on the chair and I'm going to use moonflower arms. So we're turning this into moon warrior. So I'm going to bring my elbows in toward the ribs. Now, if I want to use just one arm for that, I just hold on to my chair. If I want to use both, then we'll do that. We inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, nice and relaxed breaths in this Moon Warrior 1. Now, when you're ready, let's put our right hand on the chair top, open up to Warrior 2. So I just step back with that left foot. Now I'm opening up through the hips. My right toes are still facing my chair. My left foot is parallel to the back of the mat, looking out over that right middle finger here for Warrior 2. Now let's turn that right palm up toward the ceiling. Reach forward to serve your friends and also lengthen the spine. Then tilt the upper body back. Now, this is what I've always called reverse warrior. I've also heard it called sun warrior, S-U-N. And I recently read another name for it called peace warrior. So I thought we would use our special hand gesture, Janana Mudra, here, connecting our pointer finger to the thumb on that high right hand. Remembering our connection to everything under the moon. Now when you're ready, come all the way back to Warrior Two. Relax the arms and step all the way up to the back of this chair. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ready to do all of that on the other side now. So let's take our right foot and step as far back as you can with that whole right foot on the ground, turning the hips to face forward. Again, we can choose to use just one arm for moonflowers or moon warrior, or we can use both arms, keeping the chest nice and open, the abdominals engaged, looking straight ahead into the distance with a soft gaze through the eyes. Now, when you're ready, I'm going to put my left hand on the chair just for stability help. Pick up that right foot and step back into Warrior Two, looking out over the left middle finger. We get that nice opening of the hips here. Now let's turn that left palm up toward the sky. Reach forward to serve your friends. Then tilt the upper body back into that peace warrior. Maybe we'll use Janana Mudra again. Of course, use any options that you like. Now when you're ready, come back to Warrior Two. Relax those arms and step all the way up to the back of the chair. Let's hold on to the chair back. Let's walk ourselves back to Downward Dog. And let's press back through the tailbone, lengthening the spine. Let's also be mindful to keep the abdominals nice and strong here. Relaxing through the shoulders. Two more breaths in Downward Dog. Now when you're ready, walk yourself all the way up to the back of the chair. Roll those shoulders back and down. So today we're going to use a balance pose that can be very challenging, but we're going to give it a go today because it's a moon themed pose and it's called Balancing Half Moon. Now, there are always options, as always. So let me show you the different options that we have here in our Balancing Half Moon. So one option that we always have is if you want to be up against a wall for balancing half moon, that's a really nice option because you can basically just lay yourself on the wall and practice balancing half moon that way. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take you for a little field trip, and we're going to come to a different spot here in my basement. So let's take a look and see what we can see. We're coming over this way to a nice blank wall. Hopefully you have at least some kind of nice blank wall at your house. I bet you do. Now, I'm going to work on this balancing half moon. Let me get my camera back a little bit further for us so that we can see all the different parts of it. Now, here we go. So if you're standing beside your wall, like I said, you can kind of practice this pose and just lay on your wall, and it can actually feel very relaxing. So here's how I like to do it. I like to stand in Warrior One with my front leg closest to the wall. So here I'm going to take my left foot back and come into Warrior One. Now, from here, we're going to lift off the back foot and find our balance. Now, I might have a block here to reach to. If I had thought a little bit longer, I might have brought my chair with me to put my hand on. So I'm just going to show you how this looks against the wall. And when you're doing it at home, you'll have time to get all of your props together. So this is how it's going to look. We're going to carefully lift off the back leg, reaching down toward the ground. And folks, I can tell you, I've already got my hip just leaning up against the wall. Now, the next part of balancing half moon is we're going to turn our body outward. So I'm going to rotate my arms back. I'm going to rotate my left arm back so it's against the wall. And I'm just extending my leg out to the side. And I know you can't see them, but my left toes are pointing outward toward the middle of my room. And that's balancing half moon using the wall, okay? And then I would just gently come back up. I would do the same thing on the other side. So I find my Warrior One with my front leg right up near the wall, okay? So then when you're ready, we're gonna lift off, reaching down toward the ground. Maybe you have your seat cushion here to set your hand on. Now, right now, my right toes are pointing down toward the ground. But when I start to rotate this right arm back, that's when I turn my right toes all the way out toward the middle of the room. This is balancing half moon, an open chest, balancing on one leg. There's a lot going on, I know. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then we'll come all the way back down very gently and come back up, okay? So now let me show you how you can use your chair if that's what you want to do. So follow me back to the other side of my basement here. Let's get set up again. All right. So now if I want to just use my chair for this, then here's what I'm going to do. Now, because I don't have the wall behind me, it is going to be more of a balance challenge, but I still want to show you that you can do it just using your chair and the seat here. So what I'm going to do is the same as we did over there, except this time when I'm using my chair, I'm going to actually, in this case, the back of your chair would be in place of where the wall is. So in that case, I want to keep my right foot close to the chair and take my left foot back, okay? Now, as I propel myself forward, when you're ready, we're going to inhale and then exhale and just find your balance with your hand on your seat cushion. Now, right now, I know you can't see them again, but my left toes are pointing downward. Now, I can stay here, or if I want to add that turn, then I'll start to take my left hand up toward the ceiling here, and turning my left toes outward toward the middle of my room. Lock in those abdominals. Take breaks whenever you need to. We can feel those feet and ankles stabilizing. Let's take 2 more breaths in balancing half moon. Now, when you're ready, I like to rotate back to the seat cushion, put the other foot down, a little bend in the knees, and rise up tall. That just gives me a nice way to transition back to standing. Now, in order to do this on the other side, I'm going to move my chair so that I can have that chair back again as my stand-in wall, okay? So now this time, I'm going to keep my left foot close to the chair and step back with my right foot. Now, gang, I know this is challenging. We don't have to master this all in one night. We have lots of ways to practice. You can practice against the wall. You can practice using a chair or a yoga block. So if this is all brand new, don't be so hard on yourself. We're going to practice this one next week too, okay? So when you're ready, lift off and find your balance on that left foot, okay? My left hand is on my chair cushion. Okay, so first get firm in your foundation here. The right toes are pointing downward. Shoulder is stacked right above the wrist. Now, if I want to add that movement, I can take my right hand out to the side, start to rotate gently, gently, bringing that right shoulder back as if it's against the wall, and the right toes are pointing forward. Let's take 4 more breaths. Whenever you're ready, gently, gently rotate downward, put both feet on the ground, little bend in the knees, rising tall, and exhale those arms all the way back down. So that's balancing half moon. It is very challenging, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try it. We shouldn't work on it. It might be your new favorite pose, and that's why we try to visit some of these challenging poses every once in a while. Plus, it shows us that with practice and over time, we can get into all of the little parts of that pose and possibly find what we're looking for in the full expression of that pose. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, but it does give us something to work toward. Now, let's take our chair, put the front 2 legs on your mat, the back 2 legs off. And let's take a wide stance with our feet, getting ready for our moon salutations, a wonderful flowing series of movements. Let's inhale the arms up to a star. On the exhale, a gentle side bend. Inhale, lift, lift, lift with the trunk. Exhale, over to the other side. Inhale, lifting, lifting. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Now, looking down, you can just lift up one arm here as an option or twist to the side. Other side, inhaling, exhaling back. Now, if you want to add a knee lunge, bend one knee, lunge over to the side, exhale over to the other side with another lunge, and then rise up. Let's try it again. Exhaling to a side bend, inhale, lift, lift, exhale to the other side, inhaling and lifting, exhaling, connect with the chair. This time I'm going to add the twist, inhaling over to the side, exhaling back. Inhale over to the side, exhaling back. Come into a knee lunge as we inhale. Exhale over to the other side. Lift all the way up to a star. Just follow the breath on this last time through. Let's bring those arms all the way back down. Let's step those feet to hips distance apart. And let's take that chair back to its starting position. Let's inhale, arms overhead. And with a little bend in the knees, we swan dive to a forward fold. Now remember, if anyone's working through glaucoma, uncontrolled high blood pressure, or vertigo, we would not want to put our head below the heart for those folks. So we would just take our chest to about parallel to the ground. Straightening the legs as much as it's comfortable. We might find a little bit more range of motion than we had in the beginning of our class. Now, when you're ready, put a little bend in the knees if you're standing, slowly, slowly rising tall, and bring those arms all the way back and down. And let's have a seat here on our chair. All right, so let's come back to those wide legs on our seat here. We're going to return to that rotating sunflower pose. So let's inhale the arms up overhead. Reach down in front of your feet as you exhale, inhaling as we rise up. Exhaling down, inhaling and rising. One more time in this direction. When we get up to the top, let's reverse. Last time around. And then bring those arms all the way back and down. Duck walk those feet in toward us. Now let's reach back for chest expansion pose, holding the chest nice and open, 2 feet flat on the ground. Finding our heart shining with gratitude for the familiar poses in our practice and also for the challenging ones that encourage us to learn new things and also to see where we can go on this journey. Now let's wrap the arms around a big tree trunk here. Now let's open up to a nice neutral spine. Again, take those feet out wide and let's use a seated version of goddess. So reach those arms out into a star and then exhale and bring those elbows in. So we have nice wide hips here, a nice hip opener, nice and open through the chest, the shoulders right in line, right above the hips. Now relax, duck walk those feet back in one more time. Now this time we're going to take our right hand and rest it on the left knee. Inhaling nice and tall, engaging the abdominals. On the exhale, a nice seated twist over toward the left side of our mat. Now gently, gently we unwind. This time we take our left hand and rest it on the right knee. Inhaling tall, engaging the abdominals. And on the exhale, we twist over to the other side. Now gently, gently bring yourself back to the center. Let's go ahead and find a comfortable seat on our chair. You can certainly lie down on the ground if you'd like to. As we practice Shavasana today, corpse pose, we're also going to use a different moon meditation today. And that moon meditation is going to help us to just find our focus a little bit on the positive influence of the moon on our lives. Okay? So whether you want to sit all the way back in your chair or you want to lay down on the ground for Shavasana, that's up to you. Let's find a comfortable position and let's find a easy, relaxed breath. As we sit comfortably or lie comfortably in this shared space, we envision moonlight in a clear night sky shining down upon us. As we focus on our breath, let's set an intention for this relaxed meditation. It might be one word or a short phrase that gives our positive mental energy some focus. As we lie here or sit here, allowing the body to find beneficial rest and calm, we imagine the moonlight enveloping and purifying our body, mind, and spirit. We feel as if we are being wrapped in a warm blanket of peace and calm as we bathe in the moonlight. In this serene moment, our positive intentions find a path forward, guided by the light of the moon. let us begin to awaken these bodies from their well-deserved mindful rest. Let's start to invite some small movements into our fingers and our toes, gently waking them. And let's begin to breathe a little more deeply, filling this entire physical body with good, nourishing oxygen, and finding our hearts shining with gratitude. Grateful for this practice that reminds us to be flexible, especially here on the mat, as well as out in the rest of our lives, for whatever changes come our way. They're also shining with gratitude for this shared practice and this welcome reminder of all the positivity and abundance that the moon symbolizes. And remembering that we too can walk around with that positivity and feeling of abundance in our lives, but sometimes we just have to remind ourselves to do so. And we're always grateful for this body and this breath that carries us everywhere we go. Now, for anyone lying down for Shavasana, let's take a moment to bend the knees, gently hugging them in toward our chest, and perhaps gently rocking them side to side, massaging the back in a gesture of self-care. And then carefully rolling that body over to one side on the mat. As each of us here in this practice, breathe in the many jewels of our practice: peace, balance, calm, and flexibility. And we exhale all of the warmth and kindness that we have for each other, for the world around us, and for ourselves. And for those lying down with eyes still closed, let's rise up to an easy seated posture. I invite each one of us here to bring the palms together at heart center. We'll rub the hands vigorously to warm them. And let's bring those warm hands to gently cover our closed eyes. That amazing heat that we find there is inviting our eyes to slowly open, and we bring our hands to rest upon our laps. Clear minds, kind words, compassionate hearts. Namaste.